So in previous session we were studying about animal fiber. Again in animal fiber we have covered some concept that is about some animal fibers like wool, types of fabric, what is fiber and how fiber is made. Yes, what is mean by strands? Strand is nothing but a fiber, then yarn, fabric. Then again we came across classification of fiber, right? Then again in natural fiber we seen plant fiber and animal fiber. Again under animal fiber we studied about wool, right? Some of examples for animal fiber and the process of wool, right? Here you can see, you can remember the things. And we have studied some of properties of wool and quality of wool. Yes? So we have arrived the next concept, that is silk. Okay? Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good. So when I start explaining, please mute your system. Don't disturb me in middle of session. Am I clear? Please mute your system, please. Okay. So let us begin today's session. So we will move to next animal fiber, that is called silk. Now, I hope everyone is observing some beautiful sari on your screen. Am I right? Am I right? Yes. So, some of you have seen that in special occasion, your mom may be wearing such kind of saris, which is very beautiful, which gives luster, and which have very beautiful texture. Right? Have you seen such a saris? So which kind of sari your mom wear in special kind of occasion like marriage, birthday function or any kind of beautiful occasion? Like these saris your mom wore. Have you seen that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that is nothing but silk saris. So how these saris are prepared, how the process has been carried out to make such a saris. Today we will study about silk. Okay. Now, before reaching to that exact concept, I want I want to ask one question, that is source of silk fiber. Do we get silk from plant or animal? Who will answer me this question? Animal. Very good. Yes. So source of silk fiber is animal. Next one. Here you can see silk. Okay. So silk fiber is obtained from the cocoons of silkworm, that is called silk moth. The silk moth lives on leaves of mulberry plant. So this all I am going to explain in next slide. Just remember that we obtain this silk from cocoons of the silkworm. Okay. And next we come to types of silk. We have many different kinds of silk. There are varieties of silk. So among them, I have shown you some of silk. Okay, so different types of silkworm produce different types of silk in terms of luster and texture. Depending on its luster and texture, silk are differentiated in different types. Among them, here you can see for example, Tassar silk, Muga silk, Kosa silk, and one more Mulberry silk. Why these different silk are given here? Because these silk are depending on different types of silkworm. So that is why they are differentiated in different terms. And here mulberry silk is most common silk. Okay, so in this session we are going to study about mulberry silk. And one more important statement everyone should remember is the rearing of silkworm for obtaining silk is called sericulture. So whatever the process has been done to obtain silk in order to make a silk fabric from silkworm, that process is called as sericulture. So what is meant by sericulture? The rearing of silkworm for obtaining silk is called a sericulture. Understood what is meant by sericulture? Students?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So next, before reaching to this formation of silk fiber, I want to make you clear that what is behind the silk moth, the life history is hidden. Okay. So silk is very valuable fabric. You all know that. And it symbolizes wealth and prosperity. In earlier times, in ancient period, the silk was specially reserved only for kings and monarchs. Okay, you all know that in ancient period there was full of gold, diamond, and even some varieties. Along with that, this silk was reserved and easily we used to get that. But this silk was specially reserved only for kings and monarchs. And China is the first country in production of silk fabric. And later on, India has started in producing this silk fabric. So China is the first country where it established the production of silk fabric, and this is a very what popular in production of silk fabric. Later on, this production of silk has been arrived to the country called India. Later on, all countries started for production of silk fabric. So this is what some history behind this silk moth. Understood, students? So, which was the first country that produced silk fabric? China. Very good. Next is, as you all know that this silk is obtained from the cocoons that we will study later. And here you can see the silk is very soft, lustrous, elastic and strong, which forms a yarn. So this yarn is stronger than the steel wire also. So in this way, the silk fabric is acting. And here we have seen some different varieties of silk, that is mulberry silk, eri silk, tasar silk, muga silk, and one more silk, that is kosa silk. Right? Next is, so this is called silkworm. Understand and remember what kind of animal is used in production of silk. So by this young organism or living organism, that is called silkworm. So these silkworms are rare in order to extract silk fiber. Right? How that silkworm will start weaving net around it to form a cocoon. Here you can see. Around this, here you can see small, very thin strands which will start weaving itself around it to form a cocoon. Here you can see. Finally, it will cover itself completely by weaving net around it to form a cocoon. Inside this cocoon, the silkworm is there. So I want to make you clear about this silkworm and about cocoon. This is called silkworm. This is cocoon. Right? Next is we will see how this silk fiber is obtained. Okay. So we have many steps. Here I have shown different steps of life cycle of silk moth. Okay, this is overall life cycle of silk moth. Here you can see. This is called silk moth. This silk moth will lay hundreds of eggs. Okay, so which are been kept on mulberry plant or the mulberry leaves. So among them, we will take one egg. Okay, this is called egg. So in this egg, a young organism is there. That stage we call it as a larva stage. Okay, so this silk moth will lay hundreds of egg. So in that egg, a young organism is growing. That growing of young organism inside egg is called larva stage. So when this egg is hatched, we get a young organism. This young organism is called a caterpillar or silkworm. So this silkworm will break this egg and come out of that shell. This caterpillar or the silkworm, it will reach to next stage called pupa. So what is this called pupa stage? Here in this pupa stage, this silkworm, here the silkworm is there, that silkworm, it will cover completely itself by weaving a small or very thin strands. Okay, here this silkworm, it will secretes protein where it is exposed to sunlight, which will become next hard, that is called silk fiber. Okay, silk fiber is nothing but how we get here in this pupa stage is this silkworm, it will start weaving net around it by secreting some protein. Okay, here you can see how that silk threads or very thin strands it started weaving around itself completely, so that whatever strands you are seeing, that is nothing but here silk fiber, which will form a shape of 8. Okay, so in pupa stage, what silkworms will do? Silkworms will start weaving net around them. It covers completely with a fiber. That fiber we call it as a silk fiber. So next, from pupa stage, it will reach to cocoon. Cocoon is nothing but the silkworm. It will completely cover itself with a silk fiber. Here you can see. Then after, these cocoons are taken for next procedure to extract silk fiber. And one more stage is that from cocoon only this silk moth will takes birth. Then afterwards this life cycle will continue. But for production of silk fiber we are taking this cocoons. So what is the next procedure after taking this cocoon? Here you can see in the next slide. Here we have taken cocoons with the silk fiber which is completely covered. That cocoons are boiled. They are boiled in a hot water. Why it is boiled? It is boiled to lose the fabric which is attached over here, and then it is spun to form a fiber. In this way we are getting silk fiber. Here cocoons are boiled in order to get a separate silk fiber. So when we boil this cocoons, fibers are slowly loosened from that, so that the threads whichever we are getting after boiling, it can be spun to form a silk fiber. So separating silk threads from cocoons of the silkworm is called reeling. What is mean by reeling? Reeling is nothing but we are separating silk fiber from the cocoons in order to get a silk fiber. So that process of separation of silk threads from a cocoon of a silkworm is called a reeling. Understood, students? Still here?
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, what doubt you have?
Ma'am.
Yes, you can ask.
Ma'am, the silk, ma'am, when the out of the cocoon, when they are boiled or
Yes, once again you ask me.
ma'am, the cocoons are boiled when the silkworm comes out, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am,
that silkworms is inside the cocoons only. Cocoons are not separated. I'll show you that picture. Okay, next slide. Yes, silkworm is present inside cocoon only. When it is boiled, that cocoons from cocoons silk threads are separated, but later on that silkworm will die after boiling. Yes, yes, somebody is having doubt.
how many days the silkworm comes out from cocoon?
After
How many days it
come out of cocoons.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, these cocoons, to form a cocoons, these are kept nearly 8 to 10 days, so that the silkworm it will start weaving threads or silk threads around it, so that complete cocoons will be formed. Later on that cocoons are boiled in order to get a silk thread. Understood, or shall I explain once again?
No, ma'am.
Okay, see here,
No, ma'am.
in short way I'll summarize this life cycle of silk moth. First is egg. Okay, so this egg, in this egg the female sorry, these eggs are laid by female moth. Okay, these female moth, they will lay its egg during summer season. During summer season, next these egg hatches silkworm during winter season. Here you can see. Okay, so in larva stage what happens, you know, the when this caterpillar will come out of that egg, they are fed by mulberry leaves. So during larva stage they are given mulberry leaves. This stage lasts for about 27 days. So during this time larvae shed their skin for 4 times. Their skin is there, it will be shedding at least for 4 times. So that shedding of skin is called a molting. Later on when it sheds its skin, it will start reaching to its pupa stage. So before reaching to pupa stage, it will shed its skin for 4 times. So that process of shedding skin is called as molting. Then in pupa stage, caterpillar or the silkworm, it will spin fine filament, we call it as a silk threads. It will start uh, what weaving silk threads around it, and later on it will form a cocoon. So to prepare this cocoon, nearly it will take 7 to 8 days or 8 to 10 days to obtain a silk threads around that cocoons. This cocoon color may later on change to golden yellow color also. Next, This pupa may changes into moth, but for production of silk, we want these cocoons, right? So these cocoons are boiled so that the silk threads are separated, and later on the silk threads are spun to get a silk fiber. Understood, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Ma'am, what is the lifespan of silk moth?
What is
Lifespan.
lifespan of silk moth? Hello? Students? Are you able to hear my voice? One second, some network issue is there. Yes. So, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here so one student has asked me about lifespan of silk moth. So nearly they live for 5 days. What is amazing is that short lifespan is used to make for the production of silk, and the here female moth nearly they will lay eggs of 300 in their lifetime. Nearly they will lay 300 eggs in their lifetime. Clear? So nearly they will live for 5 to 7 days. During their lifespan they will lay nearly 300 eggs. Okay, so next is, here you can see the processing of silk fiber in real life. So these cocoons are boiled. So during the processing of boiling of cocoons, silk threads are separated. Then they are spun to form a silk fiber. Later on, that silk fiber are woven to get a silk fabric in terms of saris or any traditional dresses. Am I clear, students? Anybody is having doubt in processing of silk?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, no? Okay. Next, we will move to properties of silk. So, silk is the strongest natural fiber. As you all know that this silk we are getting from nature, that is from small and organism or the living organism. So that is why this is called a natural fiber. So silk fiber is the strongest natural fiber, and it dries quickly. Silk fiber does not shrink. Silk fiber is cool in summer season and warm in winter season like wool. Next, these silk threads are very fine, soft and light in weight. And here, these silk fiber, they'll easily retain its shape, drapes well, and has a natural shine, luster, etc. So these are what some properties for silk fiber. Next one, we will see what are the uses of silk. Silk is a very costliest fabric, as you all know that. So silk fiber is used for weaving cloth, especially like traditional dresses in India, like sari, kurta, shawl, and other wedding clothes. Silk had been always prized for its luster and fine quality. So the grading of silk it depend on luster and texture and even the fine quality of silk fiber. And the countries which have produced silk on large scale are China, and it holds first rank in production of silk, and this is the first country to extract silk from the silk moth, and later on India started in producing silk fiber. Next, we will come to quality of silk. So, what is this quality of silk? This quality of silk fabric depends on many factors, such as the type of silkworm they are used in extraction of silk fiber. Then, the quality of mulberry leaves. As you all know that for these young organisms, we call silkworm, they feed on mulberry leaves. Then selection of cocoons. There are many cocoons. Among them, we select correct cocoons in order to get a silk fiber. Then weaving and finishing of silk thread. So these are what some qualities of silk. Next, anybody is having doubt in silk's fiber?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, so tomorrow we will wind up this lesson as only one page is remaining. And have you all written first and second lesson, students?
Ma'am, what?